Normally I try and do one video a week, but this week is definitely an important week in American history, and I think it deserves this second video. Welcome to my channel, and again, I apologize for the dire need and reasons for your watching this video. As you well know, Donald Trump ordered a missile strike against Syria at a Syrian air base last night, the results of which were being felt now and will be felt in the future. The immediate casualties, the immediate responses were 4 children dead, minimum. A sovereign nation attacked. A civil war being exacerbated by a foreign entity. And Vladimir Putin himself, the leader of Russia, rescinding an agreement to avoid conflict with U.S. forces. For those of you that don't understand the ramifications of that fact, it is very simple. We are now at the precipice of war with Russia. We are now at the precipice of war with Syria. And guess who will fight those wars? Veterans, reservists, active duty who serve their country. Our sons and daughters. Not Trump's children. None of their children. None of Mitch McConnell's family. None of Paul Ryan's family. None of Ted Cruz's family. None of the Republicans and Democrats, for that matter, who support these type of heinous acts against sovereign nations. We, the people, our sons and daughters, our friends and neighbors, our mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, friends and family are the ones who are going to shed their blood because of warmongering, because of the military-industrial complex, because we have an unfit president in our Oval Office. And the institutions that allow it to happen did not fulfill their obligations to prevent such atrocities from occurring in the first place. And not only that, our senators and Republicans in office, our congressmen, are enabling these antics. They are enabling the undermining of the American people. They are allowing the proliferation of war, the proliferation of the attack on the poor, on the sick, on the elderly, on the needy, on those that are disenfranchised, those who are minority groups, those who do not worship as they do, those who do not feel as they do, those who do not love as they do. We have allowed an unbridled attack on all things American, all things freedom, all things social and stability by allowing this regime and this administration to continue forth. And I, Samuel Ronan, will no longer stand for it. I will not stand idly by and allow this to continue. I made a point when I ran for a DNC chair. I made it a point that the American people have power, have a strength, and have the ability to get on the same stage as those that hold the power, that are the power, that wield the power. You don't have to be born into wealth. You don't have to be born into politics. You don't have to be somebody. You can literally be the change that you want to be through perseverance, through action and conviction. I proved that, and I'm going to prove it again. Our Voice is the organization that I founded immediately after the race. Our Voice is supposed to allow us to unite, to network, to collaborate, to grow, to vet our candidates, to support our candidates, to allow our movement to unite, to not be fragmented, to not be saturated, to not have 20 candidates all claiming to be progressives. We need to focus on one candidate per race to win elections, to primary incumbents in their places of power, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, or even if we're possible to run as an independent. We need to bring the fight to them, and we need to do it now. As we can see, if we let this continue, we can protest, we can resist, we can go down Facebook, Twitter, social media, but unless we vote, unless we exercise our rights to vote and to vote for our candidates to get into office, to replace these creatures who are undermining the Constitution and everything that we as a country hold dear, we will continue to fail. Our protests will continue to be ignored. Our activism will continue to fail. And we will continue to suffer the consequences because the corrupt and the cowardly are the ones in charge. And I don't know about you, but I am no coward. I am not afraid. I have a very, very strong spine. And not a single person in office that is allowing this to continue represents me right now. No one has stood up against this regime. No one has stood up against these attacks on the American people and vehemently attacked their peers in Congress or Senate to denounce them, to undermine them, and to call for action against them. And so, with this message, I implore those few men and women, Democrat or Republican, who have courage, who have heart, who have conviction, to stand up and fight back for your constituents. We are the power. We are the reason why this country exists. We are the reason why everything in this country happens. So it's high time you start representing us. We, the people, do not want war. And we sure as hell don't want a frivolous war and a meaningless war against an enemy that is not our own. It is your enemy that you manufactured and you tried to put upon our shoulders. We want no part of this war in Syria or the Middle East. We do not want a war on terror because it cannot be won, and they aren't our enemy. ISIS is just what KKK is here in the United States. They are evil, hateful terrorists. And they need to be crushed. Yes. But we don't need to go to war with them. We need to empower the people in those locations to resist, to educate themselves, to stand up. You know what else would work in the war on terror? A weapons and trade embargo to the region. Funny how our weapons always find their way in the hands of the rebels and ISIS, because we airdrop them in the middle of a desert without any control of who gets a hold of them. We cash drop the same thing. Literal pallets of money, millions of dollars in the middle of the desert, so that these groups that we support could get a hold of it. But it always ends up falling into the hands of those that we're fighting against. You want to end this war? You want to give something people to believe in and fight for? Why don't you do your jobs? Enable diplomacy. Enable trade embargoes. Sanctions. That is how you win the war on terror. That is how you defeat ISIS, and that's how you prevent the atrocities from occurring in Syria and the Middle East. You do not bomb a country embroiled in civil war. And you also don't endear the people to you by threatening their very livelihoods, by taking away their health care, by taking away their rights, by taking away their support structures, by undermining their very existence, by eliminating their sense of identity or their ability to choose and have bodily autonomy. That is not how you govern. And if you insist on continuing in this manner, we the people will organize. We will strategize. We will take you on, and we will defeat you on your doorstep. Our voice is the methods and the machination that'll make that happen. We will support our candidates. We will get on your ballots, on your tickets in the primary, and we will win because we outnumber you. 42% of the country are either nonpartisan or independent voters, meaning your partisanship is at stake, is at risk, and is completely threatened by our will. 9% voter turnout allows conservatives to win up and down the ballot. We will turn out the vote for our constituents. We will ensure that we run campaigns based on principle and platform, on the issues, and that our candidates support those issues and embody those issues. And we will increase those numbers to 20, 30, 40, 50% of the electorate to turn out to vote for our candidates. And we will obliterate you, and we will dismantle your legacy of hate, fear-mongering, and war. That is my message to you. I, Samuel Ronan, will do this thing. I condemn your actions. You are a threat, a clear and present danger to the United States of America, her allies, and her people. I swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And right now, that includes the congressmen, senators, president, and judiciaries that are allowing these atrocities to happen. And we the people will not forgive, and we will not forget, and we will find you. We will meet you on the electoral forms. We will meet you in the primaries. We will find you in 2017. We will find you in 2018, and we will eviscerate you at the polls. You have been warned.